Your lesson essential question is, how are key details in a scientific text connected? So again, this week we are talking about those connections in an informational text. We're looking at the key details in specific words that connect them. This week we're talking about scientific texts. So last week, you remember, we learned about historical texts. The week before we talked about steps in a process. Now we're talking about scientific texts. And scientific texts give us information about a scientific topic. So maybe we're talking about plants or animals. We might be talking about life cycles or the outer space. There's lots of different topics when it comes to science. So you remember, key details in informational texts are connected in specific ways. So we're looking at those connections. So far, we've talked about sequence, and we've talked about how we're looking for those sequence words like first, next, after that, last, then, in the beginning. We look for times of the day. We look for days and dates, maybe months. We're looking for words that show time order. And we've also talked about cause and effect, so events that are happening because of other events. And we definitely see cause and effect in historical texts. We definitely see it in scientific texts. So we're looking for words like because of, because, caused, as a result of. And these are the words that we're using in our writing when we're explaining those connections. So we'll be working on all of that this week. We'll be looking for words that show the connections, but we'll also be using them when we write. So the first thing we want to do is read the text. Then we identify the key details and how they relate to each other. So we're looking for cause and effect words. We're looking for compare and contrast words and sequence words. I know we haven't talked about compare and contrast yet. We're looking for those words that connect the details. We want to record our details into a graphic organizer to show how they're related. So we're going to be doing that today as I'm reading a text with you. And then we're going to use those words to explain the text and the connections. So you'll be doing that in your writing. So this text is called Jumping Joeys. What do you think this text is about? You probably said kangaroos. How did you know that joeys were kangaroos? Definitely from looking at the photograph. Let's read about joeys. What is the best known animal in Australia? It's the kangaroo. Kangaroos are large animals with powerful back legs, but they are less than 1 inch long when they are born. A baby kangaroo is called a joey. The joey climbs into its mother's pouch. There, the joey feeds and stays warm. The joey stays in the pouch for 7 to 10 months. It grows much bigger. Then the joey is ready to come out of its mother's pouch. So I'm seeing some sequence words here. 7 to 10 months gives me an idea of how long the joey stays in the pouch. Why does the joey stay in its mother's pouch? So the effect of it staying in its mom's pouch is it's able to eat and stay warm. It also grows bigger. So in the beginning, the joey stays in its mother's pouch for 7 to 10 months where it eats, stays warm, and grows. When the joey is ready to come out, its mother loosens her pouch. The joey falls out. At first, it stays out for just a few minutes. Then it goes back in the pouch. Every time it comes out, it follows its mother and it learns to find food. Soon, it can take care of itself. I'm seeing some sequence in paragraph 3. Can you point out the sequence words? You probably said when the joey is ready to come out. That tells us when it comes out. You probably also saw the word soon. So it's not like it takes 5 years. No, it happens soon. So the joey spends some time out of its mother's pouch and learns to find food. When the joey leaves the pouch for good, it is not an adult yet. It will grow taller and heavier. A kangaroo can be more than 6 feet tall and weigh 190 pounds. Do you see anything that shows sequence in paragraph 4? When a joey leaves the pouch for good tells me when it starts to grow taller and heavier. So the joey leaves its mother's pouch for good and continues to grow. You're going to be answering a discussion question today, and then tomorrow we're going to be using jumping joeys to do some writing.